How do you plan to win in a conference after one of the greatest team performances of all time just happened? Well, that's what every team in the West is faced with after this great OKC Thunder run. Whether they dominate the Pacers in the finals like damn near everyone believes will happen, or lose in a tough series, this Thunder team is loaded and only going to get better. That leaves the 14 other teams looking up at a young Juggernaut and then in the mirror wondering how they are going to compete in the next few years.
Would like to take notes while I take totes of the marijuana smoke.
The crazy thing is, almost all the other 14 teams have a legit chance at the play-in, and some think they are a move or two away from challenging and taking down this Thunder team. What should
How are you just so consistent, like the Tide, night in and night out?
My whole life is consistent. Everything I do.
What should your favorite team do? How will they attack this summer to give them a fighting chance at making a run next season like the Pacers did this year in the Eastern Conference? Well, in this video, I'll break down what each team should do with their biggest question heading into a pivotal offseason. Like we did with the East, we will start at the bottom with the Utah Jazz and work our way to the champs in OKC. Talk about unlucky. Utah was all set up to get the player that could change their franchise, then the lottery gods said, nah, and left them with the 5th pick. My big question for them is, can they trade up to get a superstar in this draft? Do they see a guy in the 2, 3, 4 range that won't be there at 5 that they believe has that potential? They have the assets to get almost anything done. You need young players with potential? Well, they got that. You need draft picks? They have tons from the Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell trades. You need veterans who can help you win right away? They have those too, highlighted by the Finnish Lauri Markkanen. They are one of the best equipped teams to make a move up the draft board, but the question is, do they see a guy to lead their franchise, and if not, do they wait it out and hope the draft lottery gods are nicer next year? Next, let's head to the Big Easy and the Pelicans. Their big question is simple. Can we count on Zion Williamson? When he is healthy, he is scary good and has top 10 player in the league potential. The problem is, he is almost never healthy.
Look like he got hurt on this drive here. Look at after the finish. Kind of grimaces a little bit as he's running down.
Reggie, we went to break. You thought you saw him grimacing and in pain.
Well, he's headed to the locker room. We don't know the extent of the injury, but clearly not happy.
He has played less than 30 games in a season 3 times in his 5-year career. Reports out of New Orleans is everybody is on the table. Every single player can be had for the right price. That tells me they do not believe they can count on Zion, and if that is true, there will be teams lining up for Trey Murphy and Herb Jones, and honestly still for Zion. Would they trade them all, get a giant combined bounty of assets and do a full rebuild? I have literally no idea what they will or should do, because I do not envy GM David Griffin this summer. After those 2 depressing teams, let's hit a positive note with the next 2. First up, the San Antonio Spurs. My question for them is, how win now are they? I made a video about my biggest questions in the upcoming draft, and they were number 1. Wemby is here and ready to take over, De'Aaron Fox is in his prime, Stephon Castle has great promise, and they have a plethora of high-quality role players. Does adding another young guy make sense, or do you package up the number 2 pick, some of the aforementioned role players, and some future picks in a mega trade for a star player make sense? Who would that star be? Is it Giannis, Jaylen Brown, or to a lesser level Bam Adebayo, Karl Anthony Towns, or Kevin Durant? All I know is they can make a big leap next year because they have Wemby. He changes everything for them. It's just up to them how big a leap it's going to be.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Now let's head to the PNW for some positivity. Now, I just did a video about how much I love what's going on up in Portland, so I won't repeat myself here too much. But here's the summary. They have really great young parts, attractive vets needing to be flipped for more assets, and they're looking for the dude to make it all jump. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yes! Hell yeah!
Damn. Alright, now we're going back to the depressing teams. I really don't want to talk about them, but we have to study the Phoenix Suns, because what happened to this team? That should be documented and shown to every new owner when they purchase a team, saying, don't do this. But here we are. And the question is, which way do they go? Owner Matt Ishbia wants to own a fun, winning playoff team. Well, that team doesn't currently reside in the Valley, and how they get to that spot is the billion-dollar question. In that same draft video I referenced earlier, I talked about if they will try and get their draft picks back from Houston. But now the market for Kevin Durant is heating up, so they may have way more options than I first anticipated. The Timberwolves, Knicks, Heat, Rockets, and Spurs have all been linked to a possible Durant trade. That has to be the first domino to fall, and how that shakes out will show how the Suns plan to dig themselves out of this Grand Canyon-sized hole. Now let's look at the definition of failing forward, the Dallas Mavericks. After the awful Luka trade, they completely luck into landing the number 1 pick and best American prospect since the guy they traded Luka for in Anthony Davis. My question for them is, now what? Are you still riding this path with often injured Davis and currently injured Kyrie Irving?
They call him the best paint scorer in the league.
Got Kyrie down here.
Or now that you got Cooper Flag, are you adjusting to fit him? I'm just at a complete loss with this team and franchise. Their idea of a defense-first team with AD is a great idea if he and Kyrie were both healthy, but they aren't. My guess is they take Flag, hope and pray AD will be healthy the whole season and Kyrie can come back like his former self. The next play-in team is the Sacramento Kings. After a great season 2 years ago and all the energy, they had a most depressing season. Fired their coach, trade their star, and build their roster around 4th option level players. My question for them is, what do we do? Their best player is Domantas Sabonis. He is a very good player, but he also puts a very hard cap on your team. He doesn't protect the rim enough to be a championship level center and is too slow to guard on the perimeter to play with shot blocking big men. Then you have third-year player Keegan Murray, who has not progressed the way the Kings had hoped, and then you have 2 vets in DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. DeRozan would be great as a 6th man on a championship-chasing team, not as the leading scorer on a confused team, and LaVine is a player where his stats say he is awesome, but watching him play doesn't show you the same thing. There is no way I see this team as presently constructed being anything in this loaded West. So, do they sell off as much as they can, tear it all the way down to the studs and start over, or try to add to what they have and stay around in the play-in race? Sorry, Kings fans, that was probably pretty depressing to hear.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Damn, on to another depressing team in Memphis. The question is simple. Is this big 3 around Ja Morant capable of taking you to the promised land? Can Ja get back to the elite level player he was 3 years ago before the gun incident and the injuries?
Please catch with Jackson, 5 on the 24. Vanderbilt trying to stay with him. Morant inside. Offensive foul. Anthony Davis steps in and draws the charge. Everything defensively. And that's 3 on Morant. Morant's shaken up.
Ja is beloved in Memphis. His highlights alone keep the seats filled, and for a small market team that might be enough, but to get to championship level, which this team has not come close to, something has to change. Is it natural progression and Ja staying healthy and finally improving his shot, or does something bigger have to happen? Now we're going to go to a team that was looking like one of the depressing teams until the trade deadline deal for Jimmy Butler, the Golden State Warriors. Now, say what you want, but I 100% believe they beat Minnesota in the second round with a healthy Steph Curry.
Now stay with it here. We'll try to give you as much as we can before play resumes, but it's obviously not comfortable. And then the Warriors get the ball back. This is all on tape. Gets the ball back, Curry, that little push shot. Immediately grabs at it again and immediately...
Now, they probably would have been beaten just like the Wolves were by the Thunder, but that's besides the point. How can they make this team a championship contender for Steph? Steph is still a great player, and anytime he is on your team, you matter. But to take the next step, they need some changes. They need to find a big to help Draymond Green down low. They need more juice off the bench to help Jimmy keep this team thriving when Steph is on the bench resting, and they hoped that guy would be Jonathan Kuminga, but I think the ship has sailed on that. What can they get for them? Can they sign and trade him for something useful? Maybe to the Nets for Cam Johnson, or to the Bulls for Kobe White or Nikola Vucevic? Or do they go even bigger after Utah's Lauri Markkanen or Cleveland's Jarrett Allen? Or do they try to sign and trade for free agents like Naz Reid, Clint Capella, or Daniel Gafford? Whatever they do, they need to cash in on those last few years of Steph Curry. They owe it to all of us who love watching him play.
You can do it!
Now, let's take a drive down the California highway to LA for the next two teams. First up, the Lakers. I made a video on the 6-step process the Lakers should do to get this team back to championship contenders. It was a great video, you should watch it, but the cliff notes is this. Re-sign Luka and LeBron, get Luka happy and in shape, re-sign Reeves, Hachimura, and Finney-Smith to keep or trade, go hunting for a rim-running big man, get your current players in the lab to get them better, find a hidden gem to help this team fill out the roster. Simple, far from easy though. Now across town to the Clippers. Nobody thought that the Clippers would be as good as they were after letting Paul George go and filling his spot with role players. But the reality for this team comes down to one question. Can you rely on Kawhi Leonard all season and James Harden in the playoffs? History, also known as last season, has proven to us the answer to both of those. It's no. Kawhi will never play a full season. He has played over 60 games for the Clippers one time. I don't expect that to change next year in his 14th season. And for James Harden, evidence has shown us over his whole career that he doesn't play his best when the games matter most. I'm not being mean or even picking on him, it's just facts. I'll go through in more detail in a future video, that's how apparent it is. So then what is this team? My guess? The exact same as it was this year. Spunky, overachieving team in the regular season that will let you down in the end. Alright, let's get out of California and head to the Midwest with the Timberwolves. Back-to-back years of conference finals appearances should leave you feeling really good about a team, but I just don't feel great when I look at this team. So my question is, how do they get over the hump? They have Anthony Edwards, a top 10 player in the league already at the age of 23. He still has much to improve, but again, he's only 23 and getting better every year. But after that, everything else is in question. Julius Randle looked like he turned a page against the Lakers and Warriors, only to have OKC show us all the old Randle is still there. He's got a player option for next year and is 100% going to want a raise, so do you want to be in business with that? Jaden McDaniels is a damn good player, but also their best asset to make an upgrade. Rookies Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon showed flashes, but again, you want to make a trade. Teams are going to want them. Can they afford to re-sign Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, especially if Randle opts out? Probably not. So again, how do they get over the hump with their whole team outside of Ant being a question? This team is not afraid to push all their chips in and make moves, so I am excited to see how they do it because honestly, I don't even have a clue. Now to the team with the best player in the league in Denver. Jokic is still here and still really freaking good. Yes, they took OKC to Game 7, but with the cast surrounding Jokic, did anybody really think they could win it all? I know I didn't, and I still don't. So my question for them is, what are they going to do to get Jokic a team to win it all? Aaron Gordon is the perfect running mate for Jokic, and Christian Brown showed us he is too, but after that, it doesn't look good. Jamal Murray has not looked the same since they won the title in 2023, and at his age, it's hard to imagine that he can't get back to being that guy, but it's been 2 years of looking not even close. And Murray's about to start a new extension paying him superstar money. Yikes. Michael Porter Jr. is an okay player, he's good at what he does, but not much more, and much like Murray, he's very expensive for what he's giving you. Then there's the rest of the team. They've missed on draft picks, free agent signings, and have failed to fill out a team around the very expensive top end of the roster. So, do they package up the small parts, dump some salaries, and try to fill out their 6 to 10 spots, or do they go bigger, trade MPJ or Murray for small parts, or even a bigger name like Durant? I don't know, but like the Warriors with Steph, these Nuggets owe it to all of us to get Jokic a better team so we can watch more and more of him.
Okay.
Now on to Texas and the team with the biggest variance in the whole conference in the Houston Rockets. Their question is simple. Are they cashing in some assets, and for who? In my opinion, they have the best combo of current players and future assets of anybody in the league, and this offseason may be the time to push all their chips to the middle and make a play for a much needed superstar. The Warriors series showed the fatal flaw for this team. They don't have the one thing you have to win the title: a dude. They have a team full of some really good Robins and star role players who are needed to be great, but without that guy, the superstar, they can't take the next step. For me, everyone is on the table except Amen Thompson. He is already really, really good, and I still don't think he has a clue what he's capable of. So do they go smaller and trade for Durant, or bigger and try to take Jaylen Brown away from the Celtics, or even bigger and go get Giannis from the Bucks? Again, I think they can make the best offer for all three of those players. Personally, I would go for Jaylen Brown.
Why?
I think you can get him without giving up Thompson and Alperen Şengün. And I think a team of Brown, Thompson, and Şengün surrounded by what is left after the trade would be a killer team out west for the next 3 to 6 years. And finally, the team that all those other teams are looking at and thinking, how can we beat them? The Oklahoma City Thunder. As of making this video, they are still in a finals battle, but to be honest, it doesn't matter if they win or lose this series. The question is the same. Are the owners willing to pay for this team? That is the bottom line. This team is young, talented, and damn near perfectly built.
This group is very low-key tonight. Did you set them straight?
Yeah, we're going up. Hey, before the world dies.
Chet and J-Dub are up for their rookie extensions, and if you're Sam Presti, you have those ready for them the second they can sign it. After that, it's all gravy. Having your 3 stars under contract and locked up before they even hit their primes is how you win in this second apron era of the NBA. Add in the extreme amount of picks and flexibility with the rest of the roster this team's set for the future. They will have to do some small moves here and there, but again, they have picks to replenish guys who will eventually leave. The only question is, how much do the owners want to keep this going and how much they are willing to spend? The last time the NBA had a team like this, the Warriors opened up the checkbook and spared no expense, and they have 4 titles to show for it. The last time the Thunder had 3 young stars, they were cheap and traded James Harden after a finals appearance and never made it back to the finals till now. How will this OKC front office behave? Will it be like the Warriors or like earlier Thunder? Well, there you go. This is my long-winded explanation of one question for each Western Conference team. So much is up in the air this offseason, I couldn't be more excited to watch it all play out. Whatever goes down this July and August will shape the way the West will be won for years to come. You want to know all about the Eastern Conference and the one big question facing each of their teams? Check out that in-depth video right here. Make sure to like and subscribe because it really does help us grow and provide you with great content just like this every single week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.